Chapter 11. Coco didn't want me to make this trip, Quillerin told Rosemary as they drove away from Mouse House in her dark blue compact. As soon as I got out my luggage, he started to scold. He glanced at his passenger. At Mouse House, he had guessed her age to be about 30, but seeing her in daylight, he increased his estimate to 40, a young 40. You look wonderful, he said. That wheat germ you sprinkle on everything must agree with you. How long have you had your health food shop? 2 years, she said. After my husband died, I sold the house and moved downtown and invested the money in the business. Any children? 2 sons. They're both doctors. Quillerin sneaked another look at his passenger and did some simple arithmetic. 45? 50? Tell me, Rosemary said, what brought you to Mouse House? He told her about his new assignment, the invitation to attend a gourmet dinner given by Robert Mouse, and his unexpected reunion with Joy Graham, an old friend. She said, I guessed it was more than a casual acquaintance. You're very discerning. Joy and I were planning to marry at one time, many years ago. He jammed on the brakes. Sorry, he apologized. Did you see that stupid cat? It strolled casually across the highway, and as soon as it reached safety, it ran like the devil. I hope you didn't think I was awfully bold to invite myself on this trip, Mr. Quillerin. Not at all. I'm delighted. I wish I'd thought of it first. And please, call me Quill. I'm certainly not going to call you Mrs. Whiting all weekend. I had a reason for wanting to come. There's something I want to discuss with you, but not right now. I'd like to enjoy the scenery. As they drove through the countryside, Rosemary observed and remarked about every cider mill, gravel pit, corn crib, herd of cattle, stone barn, and split-rail fence. She had a pleasant voice, and Quillerin found her company relaxing. By the time they reached Rattlesnake Inn, he was experiencing a comfortable contentment. She remarked that it would be nice if they could have adjoining rooms. It was going to be a good weekend, he told himself. The inn was a rickety frame structure that should have burned down half a century before. Weeping willows drooped over the edge of the lake, and canoes glided over its glassy surface. Before dinner, Quillerin rented a flat-bottomed boat and rowed Rosemary across the lake and back. During the cocktail hour, they danced. Quillerin's nameless, formless, ageless dance step that he had invented 25 years before and had not bothered to update. I think I'll celebrate, he said. I'm going off my diet tonight. Although Rattlesnake Inn was not celebrated for the quality of its food, it was unsurpassed in terms of quantity. The hors d'oeuvre table presented 30 different appetizers, all of them mashed up and flavored with the same pickle juice. The menu offered a choice of 10 steaks, all uniformly tender, expensive, and flavorless. The shrimp cocktails were huge and leathery. An impressive assortment of rolls, biscuits, and muffins came to the table in bun warmers that were ice cold. The baked potatoes wore foil jackets firmly glued to the skin, except for minute fragments of foil mashed into the interior. The Rattlesnake Inn served asparagus that tasted like Brussels sprouts and spinach that tasted like old dish rags. Individual wooden salad bowls, 12 inches in diameter and rancid with age, were heaped with anemic lettuce and wedges of synthetic tomato. But the specialty of the house was the dessert buffet, with 27 cream pies made from instant vanilla pudding. Yet, such was the magic of the occasion that neither Quillerin nor Rosemary thought to complain about the food. While they were lingering over cups of what the Rattlesnake Inn called coffee, Rosemary came to the point. I want to talk to you about William, she said. We've become good friends. A young man needs an older woman for a confidant, not his mother. Don't you agree? Quillerin nodded. William has some good qualities. He lacks direction. but I have always been confident that he will find himself eventually. I know he thinks highly of you, and that's why I'm telling you this. I'm worried about him. I'm alarmed at his absence." Quillerin stroked his mustache. "What's the reason for your alarm?" "He came home about 11 o'clock last night, after going to see his mother, and he stopped in my apartment and told me a few things." "What kind of things?" "Well, he's a very inquisitive person." "That I know." "And he's been questioning some of the recent incidents at Mouse House. He thinks there is more to them than meets the eye." "Did he mention anything specifically?" "He told me he thought he had something on Dan Graham, and he was going to investigate. He fancies himself a detective, you know, and he reads all those crime stories. I told him not to meddle." "You have no idea what sort of malfeasance he suspected?" "No, he just said he was going to visit Dan last night and sponge a nightcap. He thought he might come up with some evidence." "Did he go?" "As far as I know. And this morning—" "No William," said Quillerin. "I went looking for him, and his bed hadn't been slept in. I'm sure of that." "And yet his car is in the carport. I don't know. No one else seems to be concerned. Mr. Mouse says he's impetuous. Mrs. Marin says he's unreliable. What do you think, Quill?" "If he isn't there when we get home tomorrow night, we'll make some inquiries. Do you know how to get in touch with his mother?" "She's in the phone book, I suppose. William also has a fiancée, or whatever." "Do you think he might have gone off somewhere with her? Do we know who she is or where to reach her?" Rosemary shook her head, and they both fell silent. After a while, Quillerin said, "I've been doing a little worrying myself about Joy Graham. Was she interested in that food buyer? Would she go to Miami to be with him?" "Mr. Hamilton? I don't think so. She has an exhibition coming up, and she's terribly dedicated to her art. Dan said he got a postcard, and she's on her way to Miami. She wants her summer clothes shipped down there. She happened to tell me she hates Florida, so I don't know what to believe. How do you size up her husband, Rosemary?" "I'm sorry, but I've never liked that man, and I'm sure the others feel the same way. Haven't you noticed the chill that falls on the conversation whenever Dan opens his mouth?" "You know about the nasty situation at the Golden Lamb Chop," Quillerin said. "Did that start after the Grahams arrived at Mouse House?" "I believe it did." "Do you suppose Dan could be responsible? He's the jealous type." "I really don't think there's anything going on between Joy and Max. They're too friendly in public. If they were having an affair, they'd be carefully ignoring each other at the dinner table. Besides, I think Max is too fastidious to have affairs. He never even shakes hands with anyone, male or female." She stopped to giggle. "William says Max is the kind who dries his toothbrush with a hair blower." Quillerin pulled on his pipe, and Rosemary sipped the stuff in her coffee cup. After a while, she said, "Did it ever occur to you that Mr. Mouse is a lonely and unhappy man?" "I don't know why he should be," said Quillerin. "He has his French knives and his 8-burner stove." "You're not being serious," she chided. "His wife is dead, you know, and his heart isn't in the law business. He should be running a fine restaurant. On Tuesday night, after I'd had dinner at my son's house, I came home after midnight and saw a light in the kitchen, so I went in to investigate. There was Mr. Mouse sitting at the table, with his head in his hands. He was holding a piece of raw meat on his eye. Filet mignon, of course. All right, I won't tell you the rest of it. Please, I'm sorry." "Well, he told me he'd been sitting on the bench down by the river and tripped on the boardwalk when he started to leave. Don't you think that's rather sad? Sitting down by the river, all alone?" "He had a different explanation from me," Quillerin said. "Would you like to dance? I'm a sad, lonely, unhappy man, too." They danced slowly and thoughtfully, and Quillerin was thinking of suggesting a walk in the moonlight when he was suddenly overcome by complete exhaustion. His shoulders sagged, his face felt drawn. He had been up since dawn, tramping around the farmer's market, and then there had been the long drive, followed by boating. He hadn't rowed a boat for 15 years, and then dancing and a large meal. "Are you tired?" Rosemary asked. "You've had a long day. Why don't we go upstairs?" Quillerin agreed gratefully. "Would you like me to massage your neck and shoulders?" she asked. "It will relax you, and you'll sleep beautifully. But first a hot bath, so you won't have sore muscles after all that rowing." She drew the bath for him, coloring the water lettuce green with mineral salts, and after he had soaked the prescribed 20 minutes, she produced a bottle of lotion that smelled faintly of cucumber. The soothing massage, the aromatic lotion, and Rosemary's murmured phrases that he only half heard made him drowsy. He felt, he wondered, he wanted to say, but he was so relaxed, so sleepy. Perhaps tomorrow. It was noon when Quillerin awoke on Sunday and learned that Rosemary had been up since 7 and had hiked around the lake. They lunched hurriedly and reported to the ballroom for the cake judging, only to discover that the plans had been changed. The judging had taken place before noon to accommodate the television crews. However, Quillerin was towed around the ballroom by a public relations person to meet the beaming winners. He congratulated the grandmotherly creator of the inside-out marble mocha whipped cream cake, the vivacious young matron with her Brazil nut caramel angel cake, the delicate young man who was so proud of his sour cream chocolate velvet icebox cake, and finally, the winner in the teenage class. She was a tiny girl with long, straight hair and a wistful smile, and she had concocted a psychedelic cake. Quillerin stared at the conglomeration of chocolate, nuts, marshmallows, strawberries, and coconut, the banana split cake of 25 years ago. He looked at the girl and saw joy. "Let's get out of here," he whispered to Rosemary. "I'm seeing ghosts." They drove home in the late evening, both of them relaxed and content to talk or not to talk as the mood prevailed. And it was midnight when they walked into the great hall at Mouse House. "When can I take you out to dinner again?" he asked Rosemary. "How about Tuesday evening?" "I'd love to," she said, "but I have to attend a recital. One of my grandsons is playing the violin." "You have a grandson?" "I have 3 grandchildren." "I can't believe you're a grandmother. This violinist must be an infant prodigy." "He's 12, said Rosemary as they started to climb the stairs. "He's the youngest. The other 2 are in college." Quillerin gazed at the grandmother of 3 with admiration. "You'd better get me some of that wheat germ," he said. She smiled sweetly and triumphantly, and Quillerin dropped the suitcases and kissed her. At that moment, they heard an outcry. Mrs. Marin came running from the kitchen corridor. She burst into tears. Rosemary ran downstairs and put an arm around the housekeeper. "What is it, Mrs. Marin? What's wrong?" Something terrible," the woman wailed. "I don't know how to tell you." Quillerin hurried down the stairs. "Is it William? What's happened?" Mrs. Marin gave him a terrified glance and launched another torrent of tears. "It's the cats," she wailed. "They took Sick." "What?" Quillerin started to bolt up the stairs 3 at a time, but suddenly stopped. "Where are they?" Mrs. Marin groaned. They were taken away." "Where?" he demanded. To the vet? Which one? To the hospital? She shook her head and covered her face with her hands. I called the sanitation department. They're dead. Dead? They can't be. Both of them? They were perfectly all right. What happened? The housekeeper was too shaken to answer. She could only moan. Were they poisoned? They must have been poisoned. Who went near them? He took Mrs. Marin by the shoulders and shook her. Who got into my apartment? What did you feed them? She moved her head miserably from side to side. By golly, Quillerin said, if it was poison, I'll kill the one who did it.